If it would but comprehend some joy, it comprehends some bringer of that joy. Or in the night, imagining some fear, how easy is a bush supposed a bear? Hippolyta, but all the story of the night told over, in all their minds transfigured so together, more witnesseth than fancy's images, and grows to something of great constancy. But whosoever strange and admirable. From Shakespeare's Othello. Ye that stealeth from me my good name does not taketh from me what is truly his, but makes me poor indeed. From William Shakespeare's play Othello. Ye that taketh from me my good name does not take from me what is truly his, but makes me poor indeed.
The stump could be fake too.
Yeah. I don't ultimately.
How many people?
Only one at a time, but it's sat
Sitting
on
on
by.
it? Okay.
You sit on it at one point. Ellen sits. Josie sits on it. Hogan is the one that sits on it the most. So 3 different people sit on it.
But I mean, basically, it doesn't have to be anything higher than what
Oh
this
no,
is.
no, just sort of flat, and they can approach it from any direction. And
Yep.
yeah, perfect. Yeah, he's going to Eric. We will have more room because he's going to put the ad on.
Yeah. It goes all the way to where the doorway begins. So
Right.
it's 2 to 3 feet depending on
That'll
where you
make
are.
some good sense. Oh, this is great, Eric. I'm very excited.
Okay, so I have a question about the lamp and the furniture. We got that straight out.
What about lights? Any questions there about anything?
In your blocking, I know from reading it that a lot of the action takes place on the steps.
Yeah.
Do you have a lot going on anywhere else? Because not to get overly technical, but we have an odd number of lights on all the onstage stuff. So we'll get to one channel, which instead of having 2 lights, we'll only have 1.
Okay.
It can be either a
We
special.
use a bit of center, be next to the steps. We use this a little bit.
Okay, that's
But-
phenomenal.
Yeah,
That would
but the highest they go is actually standing next to the
Eric,
steps.
can you sit in that chair so I can just get an idea of the height here?
Anything from here to the curtain
Oh,
line is.
geez, this was. Okay, I guess I. Oh,
This is my satchel.
wait a minute.
No, I mean, did you just?
Oops, wait a minute. I've got to. All right, hello, David.
Hi.
Now, this is David Myers, and he is directing and producing, correct? the play A Moon for the Misbegotten. David, in this play, does it seem that Eugene O'Neill, which is who the playwright is for this play, is about his older brother who died an alcoholic?
Right.
Does it seem as though Eugene O'Neill has sorrowful memories of his brother, the overtones of the play?
Well, yeah, there's some sorrow there. I think the most important thing, though, is it's the final play that he wrote, just not too long before he died. So it's more reflective of certain times and certain circumstances that occurred in his life. So the death of his brother features very strongly, but there's also the death of his mother that is referred to, and just his life, what's transpired, the major events of his life. So.
Okay, and now you also directed Of Mice and Men, correct?
Yes.
In
Yes.
Chelsea Players.
Yes. 20 years ago, September.
Okay. Do you see a resemblance between Of Mice and Men and To Kill a Mockingbird? The two main characters in the play, that does it seem as though he takes a close-up look at life on a simple farm, individual life on a simple farm?
Well, there is some of that, looking in examination of different types of characters and different types of people who might work on a farm in Of Mice and Men. But I think it's more about the time that it took place and about someone who is an outsider, in Of Mice and Men. Lenny, and to a lesser extent George, are outsiders. There's something that sets them apart from everybody else. They're not considered normal. And the man Boo in To Kill a Mockingbird is also an outsider. He's very eccentric, and he's not accepted as one of the people.
All right. And also, do you see a resemblance between Lenny and the lead role in To Kill a Mockingbird? Do you see resemblance at all between the two main characters that are being ridiculed or mocked?
Yeah, but the true lead in To Kill a Mockingbird is actually the lawyer. Okay, so the person who's the outsider is a big role, but it's a lesser. It's not actually the lead. But those two characters compare very nicely as far as being, ostracized by society and being different, and how we don't like to accept people who are different.
Okay. Now this Chelsea Players is using this church for their theater, their play that's in April. Could you? I know that you said this is a very old church.
Yes.
And they need a roof repaired.
Yep.
Do you have a phone number if anyone's interested in the history on this church?
Well, I don't know the I don't have the number of the church here memorized, but it is in the book. It's a United Congregational Church in Norwich, and it's at is it 87 Broadway?
Yeah.
Yeah, 87 Broadway. So.
All right. So and that's where the play is going to be held.
Yep.
All right, David. Well, thank you, and I wish you much success in your
Thank
play.
you, Maria.
Thank you very much.
You too.
Okay. Okay, and this is Eric Jolicoeur, and Eric, you're playing a lead role in A Moon for the Misbegotten, James Tyrone. Yes. Do you see any overtones in the play as to the feelings that Eugene O'Neill feels for his brother? Is there like a sorrowful little undertone in the character?
Well, certainly. He definitely feels extremely bad for what his brother went through. But I think more the plays on a larger scale, examining his whole life.
Okay.
He's at the end of his life, and there's a lot of stuff that's gone on in his life with his mother and his father and his brother. And I think he's more trying to make sense of his whole life in general.
Okay. All right. And the role that you play, James Tyrone, do you happen to notice if he had any conflicts with maybe outsiders who might be trying to get involved in his family matters? Does he seem as though he I don't know, that he might be caught up in outsiders, or he feels bothered by outsiders interfering with his family matters?
You know, we don't know much about the social interactions of his family. The people we see on stage, he's the landlord for. So he definitely tries to protect them in some ways. He wants one thing in his life to remain pure and simple. So he definitely tries to protect his tenants in that way, definitely.
All right, now you were also in of Mice and Men,
Yep.
correct? You played Lenny.
Yep.
Did you notice that? Did you take note that that role of Lenny, he was slow, and he was a work hand on a farm.
Right.
Did you notice that all Lenny was really looking for was to be accepted and to have love in his life, and try to make the most of a life on a farm and have happiness in his life?
Well, I think so, but not in any conscious way. I don't think that it was like like today people have life plans or 5-year plans or whatever,
Yeah.
And I think Lenny was too busy just existing and really enjoying every moment as much as he possibly could,
Okay. And I want to ask you, do you see any resemblance between John Steinbeck's To Kill a Mockingbird and Of Mice and Men?
Right.
That the main characters were mocked or ridiculed by society or by their environment.
Right. Well, to be perfectly honest, Maria, I have never read nor seen To Kill a Mockingbird, so I really can't comment on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, To Kill a Mockingbird is about an individual who he lives alone, and there are some young people who tend to pick on him, and something bad happens while the people are picking on this older man who is just living a very simple life, and they end up going to court for they picked on him so much that harm was done to him, and he ended up going to court.
I see.
But okay, and one other question is that Josie is in the play that's coming up, A Moon for the Misbegotten. James Tyrone, Lady's Friend. He seems as though he's concerned about Josie's welfare, and almost to a point of being overprotective. Is that true? That he doesn't want her listening to outsiders, kind of?
Well, I don't know. Again, I think it goes back to keeping something that he knows, keeping it pure, and the way he thinks it should be. I have found in studying my lines and studying certain things in this play that James Tyrone knows a lot